Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what it would feel like to live in space? Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, but instead of opening your window to see trees or buildings, you see the entire Earth floating like a beautiful blue marble beneath you. You're moving at over 28,000 kilometers per hour, and in the time it takes to watch your favorite movie, you've traveled halfway around the planet. Sound like science fiction, right? But for astronauts aboard the International Space Station, this is just another normal day. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey like never before inside the International Space Station, the ISS. We'll explore what life is like up there, how astronauts survive in microgravity, what they eat, how they sleep, and even how they use the bathroom. And I'll share some amazing facts that will completely blow your mind. So stick around till the end, because by the time you finish this video, you'll never look at the night sky the same way again. First, let's understand what the ISS really is. It's not just a spacecraft. It's basically a floating city in space. Well, maybe not as big as a city, but certainly one of the most incredible engineering achievements in human history. The ISS orbits Earth about 400 kilometers above the surface. To give you an idea, if you could drive straight up, it would take you only about 6 hours to reach it. But, of course, you'd need a rocket to get there. It's moving so fast, about 28,000 kilometers per hour, that it goes around our planet every 90 minutes. That means astronauts on the ISS see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. Can you even imagine that? One day for them is like a roller coaster of time. Morning, night, over and over again. Now here's something that blows most people's minds. The ISS is huge. It's about the size of an American football field. If you stood it up vertically on Earth, it would be as tall as a 30-story building. And yet, it didn't go up all at once. No rock in the world could launch something that big in one piece. So how did they do it? They built it in space, piece by piece. The first module, called Zarya, was launched in 1998. After that, more modules followed. Labs, living quarters, solar panels, docking ports, each one delivered by rockets and carefully assembled in orbit. Can you imagine astronauts out there in bulky spacesuits, connecting huge pieces of metal together, floating above Earth? It's like the ultimate construction project, except there's no ground to stand on. Today, after more than 20 years of upgrades, the ISS weighs over 420,000 kilograms. That's about the weight of 320 cars. So, what exactly happens on the ISS? Why do we spend billions of dollars to keep this giant lab running? Well, the main purpose of the ISS is research. Research that we simply can't do on Earth. You see, the ISS provides something unique, microgravity. This is an environment where gravity is so weak that everything floats. Scientists call it zero-G, but technically it's micro-G. And in microgravity, strange and wonderful things happen. Flames burn differently. Fluids move in weird ways. Our bodies start to change. Astronauts lose bone mass, their muscles weaken, even their eyesight changes. Understanding all this is essential because one day we're going to send humans to Mars, and that means surviving in space for months or even years. Without the ISS, that would be impossible. But let's talk about what everyone is curious about. How do astronauts actually live up there? Well, let's start with the most basic thing, moving around. On Earth, you just walk. In space, you float. You push off walls and glide like Superman. It sounds fun, and it is, but it also takes practice. If you push too hard, you might slam into the opposite wall. Everything is weightless, so you have to be careful. Even something as simple as drinking water becomes an adventure. You can't pour water into a glass because it will just float away in little globes. So astronauts drink from special pouches using straws. And what about food? Can you eat a burger in space? Well, not really. Crumbs are dangerous in space because they float around and can get into equipment. That's why astronauts don't eat bread. They eat tortillas instead. All the food is specially prepared, either freeze-dried or vacuum-packed. When it's time to eat, they add water, heat it up in a special food warmer, and eat it with a spoon. They have things like pasta, rice, soups, even desserts. Some astronauts say the food is pretty good. Others say they miss fresh fruits and vegetables. Occasionally, cargo ships bring special treats like apples or oranges, and astronauts get really excited because they haven't tasted fresh food in months. Now, here's something that shocks most people. Water on the ISS is recycled. And when I say recycled, I mean everything: sweat, humidity from breath, even urine. Yes, you heard that right. Astronauts drink water that used to be pee. It sounds gross, but the recycling system is so advanced that the water is actually cleaner than what most people drink on Earth. And in space, every drop counts. Sending water from Earth is extremely expensive, so this technology is absolutely essential for survival, and it will be even more important when we go to Mars. What about sleeping? How do you sleep when there's no gravity? There are no beds on the ISS. Instead, astronauts sleep in small cabins about the size of a phone booth. They zip themselves into sleeping bags that are attached to the wall, so they don't float around and bump into things. Some astronauts like to sleep with their arms crossed so they don't drift and accidentally poke something. They don't need pillows because there's no pressure on their head or neck. Some astronauts say it feels like floating inside a dream. Now let's address a question everyone wants to know. How do astronauts use the bathroom in space? Well, this is one of the trickiest parts of living in space. There's no running water and no normal toilet. The ISS uses a special system with suction. Basically, a vacuum pulls waste away. For solid waste, astronauts sit on a small seat with straps to hold them down. Everything is collected in containers that are later put on a cargo ship and burned up when it re-enters Earth's atmosphere. Liquid waste? That goes into the recycling system and becomes drinking water. Yeah, life in space is glamorous, isn't it? But life on the ISS isn't just about surviving. It's also about working. Astronauts follow a strict schedule. They wake up around 6 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated and start their day with planning. They work for about 10 hours on weekdays and half days on Saturday. Sundays are usually rest days, but even then, they often do maintenance or personal research. A big part of their schedule is exercise. Without gravity, muscles and bones weaken quickly. To stay healthy, astronauts work out for about 2 hours every single day using a treadmill, a stationary bike, and a special machine called R that mimics weightlifting using resistance. Skipping exercise is an option because when astronauts return to Earth, their bodies have to readapt to gravity. And if they lose too much muscle or bone strength, that process can be dangerous. So what do astronauts do for fun? They take photos of Earth, stunning pictures of continents, oceans, and even cities glowing at night. They watch movies, listen to music, talk to their families through video calls, and sometimes even play musical instruments. There's even a guitar on the ISS. Astronaut Chris Hadfield became famous for recording a music video in space. They celebrate holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and sometimes they get surprise packages from Earth with letters, small gifts, or favorite snacks. Now, you might be wondering, how safe is the ISS? Well, space is dangerous. There's radiation, micrometeoroids, and the constant risk of equipment failure. The ISS has shielding to protect from small debris, but if something big hits, that could be a disaster. Astronauts train for emergencies like fire, depressurization, and toxic leaks. There are escape vehicles, like SpaceX's Crew Dragon, always ready in case they need to leave quickly. So, how much does all this cost? The ISS is the most expensive object ever built by humans. It cost over $150 billion to build and maintain. But many scientists argue that it's worth every penny because of the knowledge we've gained and the future enables. Without the ISS, we wouldn't know how to live in space for long periods, and that's the key to exploring the moon, Mars, and beyond. But the ISS won't last forever. It's getting old. NASA and its partners plan to retire it by 2030. So what comes next? Private companies like SpaceX and Axiom Space are working on building new stations. Some will be for research, and some might even be space hotels for tourists. Imagine booking a vacation in space, floating by the window as you watch Earth spin below you. It sounds like science fiction, but it's coming. The ISS is just the beginning. So now I want to ask you, if you had the chance to spend a week on the ISS, would you do it? Would you live without gravity, eat space food, and drink recycled water, all for that incredible view of Earth? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into space, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Universe Beyond for more amazing videos about our universe. The future of space is exciting, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up because the stars are waiting for us.